Here is the Writers Guild of America notification of the Emmy nomination, and here are all the great parties that we went to. I went out to LA and I auditioned for a couple of variety show episodes, didn't get it, and wound up working at a drugstore selling tobacco and candy in Westwood. A friend of a friend of a friend recommended I see somebody over at Paramount who had come from my hometown. As luck would have it, he said, you know, the guy that gave me my break said that if you ever have the opportunity, you will give the same break to another person from Milwaukee. And I walked in and he said, you're the only other one that came. So that was a lucky break for me. And then from there, I started working on this show, Happy Days, as an assistant to the executive producers.
Special.
How did I tumble to Live from Baghdad? I got a call from my friend who had just returned from Baghdad, still had sand on him, literally in his pockets, and he called from a phone booth, if you remember those, in New York, and said, do you think there'd be any interest in a movie in what I just did? This led to the fastest deal I've ever made and the longest journey to get it actually on film. But the fast part was he got a book deal instantly. So out of that, this book led to a total bidding war from so many people and led me to overtures from Francis Ford Coppola, whom we visited on the set of a Dracula movie that he was shooting. Coppola was so interested in talking to us about the project, the assistant director kept coming up and saying, sir, he said, we're talking about something very important here. And this went on for about 6 months. Finally, we made a deal at Universal. And that was where the first signs of early optimism turning to, when are we going to be shooting? So the HBO executive said, we'll do it. And now it became an HBO movie. I always say that if you can get 80% of what you write in a screenplay or a television pilot or whatever the vehicle is, if you get 80%, you're doing pretty well. I'd say we got about 88% on this.
Nice tie. Very nice tie.
Because when you adapt a true story, oftentimes the subjects will begin to handicap you and to handcuff you into certain boring aspects that they find particularly fascinating about their life. Well, exactly the opposite with Robert, because he really wanted to make this movie big and it reflect his experience. I had to rein him in by saying, no, you cannot have a romantic interest because you're married, remember? Long about 2003, as you recall, there was the second Gulf War, and somebody told somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody to tell somebody at HBO, you better put this thing on the air soon, which was a signal that things were going to start drumming up. And I thought to myself, holy moly, this is like, after 10 years, what a way to, finally debut. A lot of luck and hard work, and then more hard work, and then even more luck. You find yourself at a plateau of, okay, I've done a lot of television, I've done a few movies, and you feel not necessarily like it's over, but you feel like you want to do something that's a little more, and rewarding is an okay word, or something that's different that is going to probably feed your creative juices even more. When WashU later on said, we're looking for somebody, would you think about coming and talking about it? I said, WashU in St. Louis? I came down to, just to talk and see what was going on here, and I realized this is a breath of fresh air. This is really interesting because now I can give back what, for all of the years that I had been fortunate enough to learn a trade, a craft, and really an art. I arrived with that poster here to inform everybody that we were nominated for an Emmy. Now, the interesting thing was that we walked into this, we were the strongest contender for the motion picture or miniseries, and we were up against some very weak competition. We're sitting in the crowd, we're thinking, okay, who's going to talk first on the acceptance speech? And so it comes up to the time where everybody that is nominated has a camera right on them with the red light, and you can see it right there. And then they announce the winner for the best motion picture miniseries is Door to Door. And that red light goes off, the camera goes away, not before we turn to each other with a, But you know what? Jack Nicholson always says it's nice to be nominated, and that's true. To be able to describe the experience here to students, to say that, you know, you may be not too far in your future where you can be up there too, and let's hope you win this time.